Yo,
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Random Fandom. Well, here's also your co-host,
I'm your other host.
the other host.
But yes, as he said, he is RavenWood, and joined alongside him, correct. I recently, we'll be doing more of those, but the next episode I have planned separate video showcasing y'all to do. Trying the camera, she keeps running on.
Give me a second.
But as I was saying, June, she keeps running off every time I try to film her, so there'll be a few delays with that episode, but it will be done shortly. And there'll be hopefully I'll just finished watching RavenWood's Gundam stream. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, you just finished putting together Gundam, didn't you?
No, I got those legs together.
Oh, you got the legs, just the legs.
Torso, his body, and the legs. First of all, it's the Gundam suit.
We could watch too much stuff on the internet. Today's stream, we're gonna do something a little different.
It'll be both the Random Fandom, RavenWood's reads, and it'll also be on the playlist of Jurassic Collection, but it's currently covering a Jurassic. So there'd be 3 shows. We're not having a Jurassic Collection show yet.
I'm still trying to. But first off, happy 4th of July, everyone.
The 250th.
America. Our founders would be both proud and disappointed how far our people have fallen.
Yes, especially
the influence of the British.
The look at would actually be like he will actually go into the internet, like if he was somehow teleported from heaven or hell. From heaven, and then like if he was to research, like go on Twitter or X.com, right?
Figure out what the modern day society has been up to.
He would be the certified. It would be the certified, and I just noticed I got scratched by Luna.
Meanwhile, on Escape in George Washington.
You grab a bill. That's what you say. Oh. Like that. It looks better if you drink it with.
I'm the buyers in the shop.
You have to do with the wine glass. Oh.
I've seen him do it with the short glasses too. I couldn't find the wine glass in time. I'm sorry.
Anyways, George Washington would look. He would happen after my presidency.
Well, he would already know because he came up.
No, hypothetically, loading screen.
The White House. Hey, Sariel, where's Kevin? We need to revisit the number of vacation days I give to you archangels. I can't find it anymore.
The Song of Solomon, bulletin, or the Song of Solomon papers. Solomon's like he's at the HQ diving away, like what are the humans currently doing on Earth right now?
It's just like what humans are currently doing on Earth right now. Takes one peek. Humans are currently being idiots. We'll just keep it PG. General audience programming.
Anyways, if General Washington, General Washington came down to Earth somehow, teleported, I don't know, came back to life,
Isekai, he'd be in a completely different world.
No, reincarnated. Sorry, if he was.
Oh, reincarnated, then he'd be in a completely different.
Anyways,
it could be you. It could be me. It could even.
It could be all Don. No. If he used Google, he's like typing. I'm imagining what they would. I'm imagining them how they would pronounce it in my mind. So I'm also just like, it's Google.
Yeah, Google. But you came out pronouncing it Google.
Google. That was also one of the options I choose. Anyways, if he went on the internet. Okay, so and he decided to use the search bar, right? And he says, what happened exactly after my presidency? He'll be disappointed. Because a lot of the presidents broke a lot of his rules.
If
and he's like, gosh dang it! I had a guy.
If anybody can hear some loud booming in the background, that's because it's the 4th of July. So
and I've already told you.
And our neighbors.
There's a cricket.
Yeah. So the neighbors are firing off. And there are a couple of crickets in the terrarium back there that Doom hasn't eaten yet. She'll get to them eventually. Don't worry.
I give you a whole guideline on what to fucking died. You get it.
But bro. Probably
I'm done.
Stick to the topic.
Let me finish my joke. Sorry. Sometimes the internet connection. Okay, so sorry, welcome back. We had a little hiccup, little stuff. Anyways, what was I saying? Oh yeah, he'll and I died. Like, okay, we are elect somebody, which I say, all right. Didn't listen. Went to war with the British again. And then the house, the first one, down. You had to take a book by book and then evacuate. The first nearly died to that, right? And then a few prisons down later, sometime, right? I told you specifically 2 turns. You abused it with 4
more years. 2 times.
No. 2 turns is basically I think it was one of the Bushes. No, I think it was
You don't.
It was the Bush before.
You don't get the joke. It was a quote.
I know that, but that
you need to catch the lingo.
I know what you're talking about, but I know what you're talking about.
It feels like you
know. No, I know the joke. Just stop. It just fell out of the place. Anyway, the two. Sorry, my brain. You had 2 turns, and instead of ending it there, you had 2 more turns.
I think
some of you
don't want to be watching us roast American history.
No, it's a joke. No, you can make jokes about American history.
You can make American history. We're here to not be political, not.
No. It's fine to have a little a history joke. It's fine. It's not political. Nick, calm down. Anyways, so like I had like these rules. These are the rules. You've still alive. You're proud, but like you'd be like nitpicking everything. Like I said no to this. I said no to that. I said no to this. What is this doing here? Look at this. Look, it's ugly. Anyways, so that's all. That's all I got to say as far. Years and then died.
Very much.
Couldn't finish the turn, I think. Anyways, that's it for the joke and whatnot.
4th of July. Getting back to the topic at hand.
Now it's time.
Out of the show where 2 random dudes come out and
Fandom.
A random fandom. We are 2 random dudes talking about a random fandom.
This went better. This went better. I guess
you did not follow the train of thought.
No, I followed the train.
This is why you don't interrupt me when I'm in the middle of facts. They clearly did not connect. You shot past.
No, I just
you shot past the sentence. Bro, jump.
Oh,
right.
It sounded so good.
Connection.
Shush. Okay, sorry about that little stuff. No, listen. No, it sounded so good, but like it's just kind of one of those things where I zoned towards the idea. Like, wow, that's actually very good. Anyways,
but you didn't let it finish. Oh, it couldn't have been that.
So, what do you want to start? Supergirl, Spider-Man Noir, Jujutsu Kaisen Season 3.
Well, let's start first.
Oh, Jujutsu Kaisen 3.
No, Supergirl. That's the travesty. At least according to social media.
That's
what we're here to talk about.
Sort of. No, I mean not to talk about it. We're definitely talking about it. Sort of if it was the tragedy or not.
Our opinions. To the rest of the world, I pretty much make it's clear on the matter, but we're a little bit late in talking about it. So
let me already start talking about the politics around. Not.
I'm just going to that direction. The basic synopsis of the film.
Okay.
Right?
Yes.
A basic general overview for those who may or may not have seen it. If you plan on watching it and have not watched it yet, please stop watching now. And when you can, go watch it in theaters or watch it whenever you get the chance to. Then come back to hear our honest thoughts on the overview. If you don't plan on watching it and don't care about spoilers, meh, you do whatever you want. And if you have seen it and have your own opinions,
Stay here.
yes, stay here. Thoughts and opinions. In the meantime,
or kill a pig.
What?
I said, or kill a pig.
No. So to start things off, Supergirl. Well, it's a superhero movie. It's in the same. It's in the same universe as James. That. It's part of that. What the cinematic universe?
The DCU.
Yeah, DCU. But I'm talking about which DCU? Because
It's called. It's just called. It's just called universe.
Well, I mean, Detective Comics. But I'm talking about the cinematic universe.
Technically speaking, they dropped the extra C, so
Alright.
they would. So they call it cinematic universe.
Okay.
And since it didn't seem, and since DCCU, it just seemed a little awkward to say so that's dropped.
Got it. I got
So
this.
it's just DCU
If we're talking about the
instead of MCU. So,
Okay.
That's why they dropped the
Okay. Okay. Well, this line into the Schneiderverse timeline. Supergirl follows the adventure Clark Kent's cousin Kara Zor-El, House of El, which is Jor-El and his bride Jor-El.
He says, "Hope you guys are having fun. I'm heading off to work, so take care and happy 4th of July."
Thank you, Ashley
purple
and
heart,
Aries.
American flag wave,
Fireworks.
fireworks.
Thank you, Ashley and Aries, for the comment, and we hope you have a happy 4th of July as well. In the meantime, to conclude, to resume, it follows her adventures as she is basically in a bit of a, well, not a bit, she's pretty much having a midlife crisis.
No, she's having a birthday.
Well, I mean, she's having her birthday does take place in the film, but she's putting off returning home to her cousin Kal-El or Clark Kent, and she's putting off his roots anywhere because she lacks a sense of belonging ever since she was forced to leave her home after the planet Krypton went kablooey and then became spacefront property. After her and then became Kandor.
No, not Kandor. It was called Argo.
Argo City. People know usually comes from the city of Kandor. The capital city is Argo. In the comics, regardless, her people pretty much just died of kryptonite radiation. She was sent off world where she would follow her cousins instead of sending her to become the god of a new world, to be a kind ambassador of sorts, although less of an ambassador, just someone kind. So Jor-El's plan pretty much fell to pieces at the wayside. But this movie shows Kara's past and why she ends up on Earth in the first place. However, while this is taking place, in Kara is experiencing a shallow sense of belonging. She feels like she does not belong on any world ever since the city of Argo. People also.
No, here's the thing. Okay, so here's the confusion.
Let me finish. Okay. Clark keeps trying to insist that she give Earth a chance, but she hasn't been doing much of. She keeps going off and partying and doing other things with her. Who she says home is wherever Crypto is. So she's kind of off on Red Sun worlds, getting wasted and drunk off the wazoo, and then going to a Yellow Sun so she can deal with the hangovers afterwards. Little bit of an issue as a blacksmith literally gets hit by the stereotypical Markiplier. Markiplier quit. Where are the blacksmith? A bunch of pirates come down and in search of kills. No, his weapons and armor. They want him to sell to the pirates their best, his best craftsmanship, so that they can make themselves stronger. It fell apart, and the blacksmith gets gobbledygooked, skewered like a potato on a skewer. Only, unlike in the usual comic that the movie is based off of, instead of just the blacksmith getting killed, the entire family, except for the blacksmith's daughter, end up getting killed alongside him.
Okay.
And so the daughter seeks vengeance. And so she goes to a bar where, surprise, surprise, Cora is loitering around, getting drunk, playing some party music, just wanting to forget about her issues and celebrate her birthday, doing whatever the hell she wants. And some bar commotion, and she meets the little girl who says she needs help killing a pirate so that she can avenge her father. After some, let's just say, poor, some persistent following around as this girl just follows Kara wherever she goes, in order to ensure that Kara does not quit. So the girl just pretty much just follows her around, and eventually Kara gives in and says, "Fine, I'll take you to help, but I'm not letting you kill anyone. Okay, that's gonna ruin your life." So they embark on an adventure to seek out the pirates, and then Crypto gets shot. Crypto gets shot with a poisoned arrow that only has an antidote that the pirates keep. So now Kara has to take the girl with her because now she has to go get the pirate. Interests align, sort of, go after the pirates. Kara in search of the cure, the little girl in search of vengeance. They go off to find the pirates, and they encounter many. They get attacked by techno. They get they get attacked by some random techno salvagers that attract by a pirate invasion of a world where they take all these girls to be the pirate brides. Low-key kind of disgusting.
Sex trafficking.
Pretty much. And there they encounter Lobo, who honestly I thought was going to be the main antagonist of this film because of all the marketing they did. Would you please shut up? My God.
I like his presence.
This cricket. Oh my God. He's going to be the main antagonist here, but no, he's pretty much just a side character.
He's a nothing character.
Although I love his character, he's really just there because he's after a completely different pirate with a bounty on his head. Because Lobo, as most DC fans know, is a bounty hunter, though he's more so a rival / buddy of Superman. Their relationship's kind of confusing. Well, they don't really do much with Lobo, but I enjoyed every single second Lobo had on screen. He was the best. He was honestly one of the better characters. I'm surprised he wasn't the main villain, considering all the hyping up he got in the trailers. Like, they were all like, "It's Lobo! My gosh, he's an immortal! He hunts people for money!" And all that hyping up, all that glazing they were doing, just for him to have this. And instead, what was that? Creme, yeah, Pirate Creme. It main antagonist. So yeah, they meet Lobo on this planet where the pirates go to indulge in their sex trafficking spree. It's weird, but
not weird. It's just
pirates doing pirate. Essentially, Kara is drugged. She managed to overcome it thanks to drinking some milk. The milk line fight and stuff. The system. Who knew milk was actually good for you?
Poison.
Who knew milk was well, I mean, they drugged her with. Yes, essentially a point. Her initial, however you want to say it, some milk. Her head was back in the game, and there's a whole piratey invasion, and the pirates realized they didn't exactly win, and so the pirates left, but not before killing a whole lot of people. Like, on screen, there was a big deal about it, because the other character, the little girl character, I forgot her name,
forgettable.
She complains about like why pirate what's his name again? Creme. Pirate be stopped. Gotta get him at all costs. This guy has to go. 12/12, so now I can ask, will there be a Yu-Gi-Oh? There won't be for this, but there will be soon.
So you could
you can always go back and rewatch it, Linus. Like, if you want to, you can stop over and rewatch the Crimson Crisis box opening. There, I pulled some more Assault Mode Activate cards, but sadly not the ones I was aiming for.
Melissa Benoist.
What?
No, I don't think this is right. Oh, this is the wrong Supergirl.
Yeah, that's the
TV
CW
show, which a lot of people were probably thinking what this was going to be.
probably. Regardless, she complains to Kara about not killing Pirate Graham when they had the chance to. There's a whole fallout between them. Kara, she just wants to get the antidote. There's a whole internal dispute, which is honestly doesn't really lead anywhere, but it's important for the character's story, and so the people can empathize with her, but it doesn't really land as much as they want it to. You just get the sense that, yeah, Kara's got some darkness in her past, but that just pretty much explains why she's always running away from Earth, because she doesn't want to belong anywhere else other than Argo. But and that's pretty much what the movie confirmed for us, that she's running and drinking away her troubles. And apparently this girl's supposed to fix that for her.
No.
Creme to this planet with two just lethal to Kryptonians.
And a yellow sun.
And a yellow sun, which boosts the power tremendously. Not as much as a still amplifies it. It connections unstable.
There we go.
All right.
We're back.
Green kryptonite is usually green kryptonite. Right. Back.
The gold door. He steps through it. He goes back out. He's a normal human being. Point in that story where
I like in Superman 2 and Fortress Assaulted, where he
anyways, tells about
temporarily lost all his power.
I think in that same pack, but that was due to hope or whatever.
Yeah.
Anyways, blue dampens Superman's powers and acts as an antidote to red kryptonite. Bizarro clone family, the exact same way the green kryptonite affects Superman. Specialized black splits Kryptonian into two separate entities, one entirely good and one entirely evil. Kind of like white, completely harmless to animals and people.
Didn't even finish that kind of lie.
Where he splits up in the movies. Where he splits up into two versions, evil Superman versus normal Clark.
Superman 3.
Yeah, that one's my personal favorite of all the Superman. Yeah, it's no, not my personal favorite. It's like a personal. That's my favorite villain. That's my favorite. Anyway, not drunk Superman, but it's like evil side of Superman. Yeah. White, completely harmless to animals and people, but devastatingly lethal to all plant life, bacteria, and viruses. But for some reason, doesn't do shit. Superman. Superpower similar to Crypto the Superdog for 24 hours. Interesting.
So there's a kryptonite that puts down crypto.
Pink, Silver Age, satirical, alters the sexuality or gender expression of Kryptonians. X, Kryptonite, created by
enhanced by Chemical X.
No, created by Supergirl. Harmless, very temporary, grants standard human superpowers. Oh, okay, that's cool.
Oh.
And Fandom Kryptonite, where you subscribed to us.
Yes. Fandom Kryptonite. You know, what we have is the random.
The lightest.
No. Formula similar to the anti-life equation.
Okay.
Formula.
Yeah. Anyways. No. Listen. Okay.
But essentially, she's on they. She and the little forgettable character girl. They end up on that planet with two suns, one green, one yellow.
Green, yellow.
Green, yellow. My goodness, we're gonna be killing this. She nearly dies overnight, but manages to pull through after Ruth gets.
Give me a second. Give it a second. Another skip.
Essentially, Lobo and Ruth work together. Lobo gets his man always gets his man. And he pretty much decapitates that pirate, leaves. Meanwhile, pirate go down, quote unquote, Supergirl, and after bringing up, she finally managed to convince Ruth to pursue a life of vengeance because it'll mess her up inside. The burden of killing someone is going to haunt her for the rest of her life. And after, what does Kara do immediately?
Because it's not going to haunt her.
It's not. She's mature.
This is not going to.
She's mature enough. The ways of the world and how heavy the burdens of killing someone are. Anyways, I'm just saying, I find it kind of laughable that all this build up to change Ruth's mind and then immediately go around.
Oh, it's not that because she's.
Bo's over there in the back just kind of laughing because he could like. He sees potential in Kara falling down the dark side. Lobo sees a new approach train in the ways of bounty hunting. Oh no, I'm trying to paint Lobo as the one.
This is actually what I will say since this.
After the after she kills Cram, go their separate ways after dropping her off back. What? Cunt! But after dealing with Pirate Cram, Kara drops Ruth off, decide to go live with her aunt. Kara and Ruth does, yes.
Oh, sorry.
Ruth decides to go live with her aunt and care on her father. Kara Zor-El, however, to return to Earth, and she has the last scene ends with her telling Clark that maybe just a chance and stick around for a little while. Meanwhile, Crypto gets in. And that's Supergirl in an overview, the basic synopsis of it all. Drunk girl feeling like she has a place she comes. Her life is a mess. The two of them meet up in order to get the antidote for Crypto, who's been poisoned by the pirate,
Right
and encounter some shenanigans along the way. But they ultimately win the day, save Crypto, and Kara decides she's gonna actually try to give Earth a chance and hopefully fit in somewhere. Pretty much all it is. If you go and watch it in theaters, the 10 to maybe 25 minutes of the film are a hastily put together mess. Once the rest of it is relatively. I found myself walking out of the theater, not like stinking. That was the greatest film I've ever seen. But it was a movie. But it was okay. Head empty. God! God!
Okay. My thoughts are that, I've read the comic. I didn't read the entire comic, but
you just read like the first chapter.
I read the first issue of the comic, so I did. It's ass. No. The comic is for like the beginning part of the movie, and for the world building and maybe a little bit.
She is, by the way.
No,
she is. There you go. That didn't kill you, did it?
Where was it? Okay, so like, since we're only talking about the first issue of the comic, right? It's only gonna. I'm only going to be comparing the first 15 minutes of first 15 minutes. The where I like from my knowledge extends like so the first 15 maybe 20 minutes of the film, right? You already start to see a lot of differences. At first I thought like, okay, some of these differences are obviously, Hollywood probably to make the story either shorter or longer depending on like the overall length of the story of the comic. Or maybe it's just not little details here and there. It's like, you're watching the first 2 minutes of the film, so obviously there's some things that are going to be a little bit different for different reasons. The first 15 minutes or whatever of the film.
I'm gonna help you out. First 10 to 25 minutes. It's a rush job.
No, it's not a rush job.
It's a mess.
No, it's how do I say this? It's
hastily strewn together.
No. Some reason they wrote this in such a way where it's a completely different story. The mother doesn't get killed. Some spoilers from the comic. The mother does not get killed, right?
The blacksmith family,
Krim was awful, but he wasn't like despicable. Apparently,
he just killed the blacksmith.
He killed the father because they were having some sort of duel or something on a hill.
And of course, someone had to die on that hill. We just find the nearest hole, dig a hole in it, and
I might have some of the
body in the ground.
Wrong, but it was more of a Viking era. Everything about the world, right, was in the Viking era, and it made more sense. Now, someone can argue that the world makes more sense, technically speaking, that like, oh, hey, or it will still make sense. Sorry, it will still make sense in the movie verse for the sword, right? Let me finish.
I just went. You've been making weird noises throughout my overview.
True. That's fair.
You don't.
Sorry, it's sorry.
Don't talk back to me.
Okay. I just don't want to be interrupted by the internet connection again, because
it's inevitable.
Where was I? Yes. Okay, so so I'm not saying that the movie had to be accurate as possible to the comic. I'm just saying like the comic was colorful. This movie was colorful for its own separate reason. Or had lack of color for its own separate reason. It more darker story by the looks of it.
Didn't feel like much of a darker story.
It was definitely dark. It's okay. No, you haven't read the comic, so
no. I'm not talking about the comic. I'm talking about the darker.
Yeah.
I was pouring the glasses.
I'm just trying to focus here on this. Okay. So there's some things in the comic I feel work best. That like, okay, it's a world of Vikings or the Viking age / non-age, I guess, where people are still forging in their pajamas. Sorry, no, still
rely on what?
Making armor, not brushing their teeth.
Well, ironically enough, like people back then.
Well, no, they probably brush their teeth differently. But anyways, so or different were that area clothing. It's like, okay, so it's basically space Viking, space medieval, whatever, right?
Space Godzilla.
The one question that I had in my mind throughout the comic, I will say that the movie did better, is like, there's probably some answers why. I was like, you think that in space, right?
No,
some space aliens, some space their ships or wherever, and like, you know, it's a space planet, right? It's going to have all these space stuff, and so what's the sword going to be so important? Have you looked at Earth? There's no, in the comics, so like we're not highly populated with space aliens, right? And so there's probably some sort of intergalactic space travel, right? Don't probably like a rule that's similar to Star Trek. Don't go to a planet that hasn't invented the wheel, hasn't invented space travel, right? Mm-hmm. So like there, that's probably like in Star Trek they go to a planet that has not invented the wheel, right? So I say wheel, but space travel and whatnot.
The space wheel.
The space wheel, right? So like I think
if they haven't been to Space Australia yet, you can't invade them. That was a Dragon Ball Z abridged reference. If you have not been to Space Australia or watched anything on space, you can go here because they haven't been to Space Australia yet.
Anyways, so with plant, like in my mind, like it made sense. Oh, hey, if planet Earth has like very little space, very little to none space aliens invading or crashing on Earth, right? I know that Superman exists in space, and I know that universe. Excuse me, I know that. The Green Lantern Corps, right? But like those are like small amount. There was like the bare minimum, right? Right.
Yeah.
But like to have another planet.
Lobo. That's an example of
one who's actually living on Earth in the comics and became a superhero.
I thought you were just talking about aliens.
No. Anyways. I'm talking about aliens in general. I'm talking about like here's your superpowers, go.
Take a map.
Yeah, right. There's the Martian Manhunter crashed on Earth. The White Martian crashed on Earth. The Green Martian, or whatever. Supergirl crashes on Earth for some. But like you would think that would have that other planets will also have this sort of thing of isolation, feeling isolated from the rest of the universe, right? In the same, it kind of makes sense to me while reading the comic. Like, oh, there's planets out there that are not other planets, right? Like
Dark Side and the Planet of Apocalypse.
Yes, Dark Side of the Planet. You don't have, gosh. Anyways,
well, that's his planet's name.
Yeah, I know that, but like, anyways, we would have all these spaces and whatnot, and blah blah blah. Probably because the general audience is. Let's be real here. General audience don't pick up a comic book for the life of them. They're not going to. And the kids,
general audience don't even know how to touch grass anymore.
And the parents are just going to see the movie and like, oh, hey, a cartoon show. Hey, let's go watch Supergirl, right? And then, but they don't. There's a lot of or whatever, or general audiences or whatever, that don't read the comics. And I'm not saying that they have to, but like I'm just. It would help. Like it's like anime. Anime is made to advertise the manga, right? And there's so many.
It's usually actually most anime are actually mostly trying to advertise the light novels
or the manga.
Mostly the light novels. Because sometimes anime does convert.
Yeah, I know.
That doesn't always happen. It's light novel, manga. Yes, manga and anime adaptations are there to the light novel, the book that started it all, or audience into going to check out the original source, the light novel.
Well, anyways, and then there's,
or if there isn't the light novel, then the manhwa, or whatever the original source was.
Yes. Well, anyways, there's also like, what is it called? Oh yeah, sorry. The transform figurines, so you can buy more, and so that they
Which
can make
came
more.
first, the toys or the
toys.
show? Okay, so
And then the
was
comics.
the show originally, and the show. Oh, it cracked.
Say-
There we go. The transform came to life because of the popularity of the toys, right?
Well,
Or
yes,
would you
it's
say-
well, yes, but it's also the boost.
Yeah.
But as I'm getting to it, I'm just saying. Anyways,
Well, I'm just trying to help get your point. How did this stuff came about? Because a toy to be interesting, and so people were like, let's make a show about that. Yeah. Sparked interest, and because of the show are produced, and as a result of more toys being produced, and the show in contrast with supply and demand with general audiences, then came, and then the comics further boost sales.
well, people not reading these comics and whatnot, they're not going to understand that, like, why the sword is. Well, the comics explains that the sword world is primitive, or not primitive. In comparison, not primitive, but like it lacks technology.
Right.
When you have space aliens and technology in your planet,
Right.
story, right? It'd be okay. It'd be like, okay, Jurassic Park. Imagine that you get Jurassic Park, and
which
one would be?
Reading that later tonight.
Imagine getting Jurassic Park,
Right.
And it takes place in the future, where you would think none of these problems would happen. Well, yeah, that's one of the many problems with Jurassic World, is like you have a lot of technologies to prevent half of the damage.
Well, a lot of the in the Jurassic World are because they write much technology to handle it, and they didn't actually physically take care of any of this shit before. They didn't even bother to nip the problems in the bud before the problem could take flight.
And if you look at the size of the plate, the part, if you look at the sizes of they're smaller. And if you look at the guidelines for zoos, why a lot of they're not fit for monsters.
Housing the.
Imagine
you basically got the ultimate cosmic power.
hypothetically speaking. If you had Jurassic Park, right, and instead of them being inside the Jeeps right here, right?
Yeah.
Now put it aside. You know how they're in their they're just on a conveyor belt or whatever. Imagine, okay, right?
They're following the electric track.
Yes. Imagine instead of a Jeep, And instead of people inside the Jeep, it's a camera, a device, following along the track or whatever, right? I'm going with this, right?
You mean a drone?
A drone, a camera or a track or something with a camera, something, either a drone or something. Like, you know, I'm the theme of the track being needed because of the,
or a zip line?
No, not the zip line. You know how the cars on the road for whatever reason,
they all ran on an electric motor, and that electric motor ran on the electric
imagine
track like in the movie.
Yeah, imagine the electric motor track. Imagine the electric track, right?
Yeah.
But instead of the camera, right? And instead of people inside the cameras or nearby the cameras, right? And it goes on this track and it goes along the fence, right? Everyone's inside the buildings and whatnot. That's the problem that I have with this movie. It feels like that. It feels like Jurassic Park. Not Jurassic Park, but it feels like all the not Jurassic Park, but technology. It feels like how I no. It's like how I describe, right? Where the weird cameras or drones or whatever, and people are being inside and watching the screens and on.
Well, I tell you what, when we and you stream your gameplay, build your own park.
I'm sure. No, you're not. You can't.
Yes, you can.
Okay. Say it again.
It's in
there. Okay. So, what I'm trying to say is, well, regardless, let's just say you just have people inside the buildings, right? Right. What's the point of having all this technology, right? But the sword. Say it again. Oh man, like when it comes to wanting revenge, or like, hey, I know I said, but
to reload everything. I was able to continue. But make sure you pick the top chat.
Yeah, I know. Let me. Hello, world. Back. Blah, blah, blah. Okay.
But what I wanted to say is that what they keep doing nowadays is that they're pushing some sort of feministic agenda, and it's a lot like what certain YouTubers like Nuxtaku said. These people on one certain side are trying to push forward that male equals bad, women equals strong, doesn't, and not go like make babies be fruitful, follow the words of the Bible, be merry, be plenty. You can go watch Nuxtaku's video on this. He explains it. He explains it better than I'm trying to. But basically it just feels like they're trying to slap their audience in the face and say, listen, like, can be strong, women don't need a man to be happy, others to be happy. Women can be however they want and do whatever they want. Men can just bugger off and die. Or smack the audiences when they come. I'm saying I hate to say it like that, but it genuinely does feel like that's what they're trying to do.
Not in this film, though.
Not in this film, but you get a sense of it in this film.
No. Actually, I'll explain it a lot better than both you and Taku. especially Knockstock. He's kind of sort of on the grifter side.
I only on his review of Supergirl. I agree with a lot of it. Some of what he's his points.
Let me break down what the Ruth's character, and it's nothing to do with shit.
I'll say that for when
I am.
Spade.
Okay.
Spade. I'm not talking about Ruth though. I was talking mostly about Supergirl.
Oh no.
If you're bringing up Ruth,
I'm gonna bring up. The problem with this is, I'm not saying that the comic was trying to push what do you call it?
No, not the comic.
No,
I'm talking about the movie.
I want an agenda or anything like that. It just, for me, like it kind of rubbed off that way a little bit. Like, all right, I was a little bit annoyed by a certain word that I kept on hearing, but that's only because
I forgot not to breathe.
Drink, then breathe.
I forgot. I was too busy listening to you.
Anyways, that's what I was saying. But the comic with Ruth, better. She had an optimistic personality.
Usually, yeah.
But like, okay, what I'm trying to say is like,
Early Melon Rants. What are you?
Talk about Supergirl.
We're basically doing a small talk about the movie Supergirl.
And I'm doing some comparisons between the comic interruptions.
But if you stick around, we will talk later about. We will get there eventually. If you stick around, stay tuned. But if you want to, why don't you give us your honest thoughts about the movie Supergirl? If
you read the comic, I haven't read the entire comic. I'm just talking about the brief comparison of between the first issue and the rest of the movie and the overall vibe. Anyways, going back to what I was saying, the character overall, right, felt like an actual character. Some personality to her. She cared about Crypto, the dog, right? But in this movie, she just kind of
she was only in it for revenge.
But like I feel like though the vibe was getting off the character. Now, granted, I've only read one issue, but there we go. Okay, sorry about that. There was a bit of scuff internet connection. Anyways, so characterization of these characters is like some of it and only kept like plot relevant of the characters. She's not a good actress. No. She just doesn't come off as.
She doesn't. She may have only been told to like follow the guidelines here. It's not necessarily that he is a bad character here. In this film, you didn't really get a sense of it. She was told to just simply address the fact that she was invested in killing crap. Well, she want now like this is what must be done. You see how about it?
But I feel like there was no like despite her having emotion in certain scenes, I didn't feel the emotion coming from her.
She really wasn't conveying it. She was only conveying
because I saw this video of like Cornsworth. And are you okay?
Yeah, I just nearly choked again. So
Cornsworth and James. A small debate. Like there was this video about like talking about the scene where he's emotions and whatnot, right? Yeah. But like, and I felt Gunn explaining to why he wanted a certain way is because of like, and he came up like his own father, I guess. Right. Anyways, but trying to explain Superman's feelings and how to feel in the certain wanted to see out of this movie, right? I felt, oh come on. Sorry, we were cut. Sorry, we were cut off. We were cut off for just a second, but we got the connection back. Sorry about that. But anyways, you can feel, couldn't feel much emotion from Ruth. Some of that, like she had, you went through the emotions of Supergirl, right? So I'm confounded here. Why couldn't they bring that dynamic with character for this film? And in the comics, she had character. And so there was a lot of problems. There's a lot of problems with this film, but it's not a like. Okay, so how do I say this? There's a lot of problems with this film, but it feels like a DLC
extended content.
Now there are some 11 minutes that would, according to some sources, that will be added to the DVD or whatever. It's said to fix the pacing, but I want to. So we'll watch the DVD version or whatever, I guess maybe, or the extended cut. The extended cut to this film that exists, right? That will like the pacing, allegedly, will fix the pacing of the film. And I did feel like there's a lot of pacing problems with the film.
I'd rather watch Avatar: Fire and Ash.
No, you're supposed to compare a bad film. It's mid. It's not a bad film. There's a well, it's not a bad film. There's still stuff that like if you were to hire Celtic Phoenix rewrite the film, it's still salvageable. There's still stuff.
We just have an angry Twilight.
Okay, but like think about it. There's stuff that hours, like there's some stuff salvageable with The Force Awakens, and maybe some stuff salvageable with the Bad Jedi. What's it called? Not the Bad Jedi.
Jedi. The Last Jedi.
Yeah, and there's not.
The Rise of Skywalker.
The Rise of Skywalker. There's nothing.
Shot itself in the leg.
Yeah, and shot itself in the dick too.
The same argument with Jurassic World Dominion, but that movie actually could be saved.
No, I feel like Rebirth was.
Could be Dominion could be saved. Yeah. It's just that due to many script writers on the project, and then some stuff happen the production. So with that in mind, I'm willing to cut Dominion some slack, even with the final product, because after what happened during 2020 and 2021, I could understand they were in a rush. Well, yeah, they keep falling down by the wayside.
Out there, there's a small buff, And anyways, the what I'm trying to get at is that there's this weird, like, it's not a bad film, and it's definitely I haven't seen Morbius, but terrible that I have seen
Morbius.
So far. The Joker 2 did better than Supergirl so far. I one of those movies where, like, yes, it's mid, but like it. That's another problem that it has. Is this fucking thing? There's crickets in the background. It has is that, well, you see, there's Toy Story 5, which a lot of people went to see, even though
it's a very good movie according to some people.
No, it made a lot of money, but only because of kids and parents.
Well, according to some people, it's actually a really good movie.
Well, some people say it's a real decent film. Some people say that it's a very good film as a sequel to 4. Like it works as its own film. Like it's technically speaking, it's a good film, but there's like something. We have to watch 4 to figure out what they're talking about.
Right.
Like the 5, like I watch 4 or something. But we're not going to watch 5 theaters. We'll watch 5 and 4 and 5 on streaming services.
We have 4 on DVD.
We do?
Yeah. It was one of the DVD that was given to us as a Christmas present.
Well, anyways.
How to Train Your Dragon 3: The Hidden World.
Well, anyways, we'll watch 4 out of here. Well, conversations around it.
We'll probably cover random fandom stream one of these days as well.
No, probably not. Well, I feel like I've been hearing only stuff. I was like, for some reason, they keep running him down as like the stoic, serious guy that he was in 1 and 2. 3, not so much. 3 was writers. Scum of the earth. Scum of the earth. Scum of the earth. Change. There we go. Change. Maybe that works. We're not talking about that. We're not going to, like, there are some good things about Supergirl. Like, like there was just so much stuff that weigh it down that I could see why a lot of people don't like it.
It's like
what do you think?
Of things where
Earth
Pluto just kind of
Rats.
Earth Meloon.
Earth
Meloon.
As I
y'all just feel free to let us know your thoughts about it. Takes away from it. You can walk out of that theater
a small
and DLC.
Well, yeah, it just feels like an extended in a very like, oh hey, we're going Lex Luthor for the 100th.
Or technically Ultraman, but
anyways, so like here's my
waiting for. Make your dreams come true. Just we're not back. We're trying to be back. Let me say I'm back. And I think how weak. Anyway, can you?
Hello. We're back. Okay, sorry. Okay, so but I would no hold on. We're not starting that just yet. Now, but what I do want to talk about a little.
Yeah, I actually want to cover that in a separate stream because I feel like that demands its own attention, and I feel like we can make an awesome thumbnail about it.
Damn.
He mentioned in the 4th of July stream, but I mean, like,
No, Spartan War is
definitely good. On stream for us to talk about.
Okay, I see.
Super cool.
For Toy Story, fuck you. Okay, sorry. For Toy Story, sorry. The so Toy Story 5 in the 4th of July after the first week of Supergirl. So yeah, the first week and the second week is July 4th. Everyone's prepared for stuff, and then you got like people going different places and whatnot during the July soccer game, which people are watching instead. So there's other opportunities.
There's a lot of waste your money.
Well, yes, but like I'm trying to. Supergirl, it's just
and on shoulder Raven.
That film, it wasn't a it was definitely not trash.
I mean, it's not bad.
It wasn't
Not
good either. It wasn't. I don't want to say it was mid. Like it just exists, right? It's just in a bubble of existing.
It's like that one quote from Dada Doya. Yeah, we are the.
Oh my god! Every day in my successful stream on YouTube or whatever, I'm like, yes, exact definition of mid. It's the good side of mid, not the bad side of mid, right? The bad side of mid. The bad side of mid is Indiana Jones 5. Or which one's good side of mid and which Indiana Jones Supergirl 2026. There wasn't
Jones and the Dial of Destiny probably was more engaging to me than Supergirl was.
Interesting.
And that's mostly because it engages with the audience. It stuck to the formula of what an Indiana Jones movie was. It didn't really have an assignment.
Well, no, it didn't stick to assignment. It's just
enough of
script. Yeah.
It went off script, and it basically only followed women's strong. Gets took down, and pirate is killed at the end. Bad guy dies.
It wasn't that.
I feel like that was what they did instead of the actual assignment.
No, it feels.
You know, like you had the script. You just had to follow the source.
Well, see,
they try to do problem. Space. In more and more films, just follow the source material, you would have more people
Not
going
really.
into the audience.
There's some source material you don't want to follow.
Well, I mean, like more and more of films would follow their original source material, like with and Jurassic Park and
I feel like they took the
Overlord.
comic and instead of embracing the, I feel like there's some things that are technically written better in the movie. Maybe I read the entire comic again. It's just like
you just follow the source.
I just feel like instead of changing so much of the comic, on one end, it does feel like killing off the brothers and killing off the mother drives
drive
the need. No, the need for revenge, not the plot. The need for revenge forward.
Well,
right?
the need for revenge was part of the plot.
It drives the nail into it literally drives deep into Ruth's character, and that she needs to get this done. Right? I'm not saying that in the comic one she was nonchalant about it. Right? No, she
avenge her father.
No, she wanted to avenge her father.
Her whole family.
Because she loved her father. That's where the comic had, but the movie did not. Okay, it only felt like I'm doing revenge because everyone in my family was killed, right? Everything was stripped away. No, the comic him to be at where be there for. Had a father. She had a loving father, and she wanted who her brothers were brothers. There were supposed to be more brothers. There were supposed
to be several brothers, according to the comics.
Yeah, there were supposed to be like at least 3 other brothers, right? The mother was too quick to be. The mother was too quick to be content with the father's death, and just like. But that's actually, I feel like that was actually better in the sense of like she moved. She didn't move. Well, she was. From what I read, it felt like that the mother was quick to move on
to recover,
right? But the brothers spoke of revenge, but didn't want it, right? Or didn't actually pursue it because they were cowards. They were afraid to face crime. Krim felt like a threat in the comic, or at least a thought of a threat. Like you were thinking, like there's a reason why they're not seeking revenge, and it's
in the film. I mean, yeah, Krim's.
10 men.
It's
strong.
not. Well, they said he had the strength of 1,000 men, according to the techno pirates.
It still felt lackluster. Though.
Yeah, lackluster, and even then, he didn't really feel like a. Obviously, film Supergirl clearly was way stronger than he was because, of course, they're gonna make the Supergirl stronger than any enemy.
They didn't. I don't.
The main reason he was such a threat is because he kept weaseling his way out of everything with his tricks and his poisons and his exploiting of the Kryptonian genes by picking a planet with 2 suns, one green and one yellow.
Oh, in the comic, I have the rest of the comic, and I will come back to you in the next stream or some other stream or whatever. So y'all and tell y'all my thoughts about the comic and where it ends and whatnot. Let
me get to that.
From what I've read of the comic is that the reason why they needed to go after Krim was because took, by accident, he took her ship and took off. He thought it was some sort of weird our home, right? Or some sort of weird, bizarre cave or something. He was trying to hide. And it was the reason being was because the dog was dying on this planet and it needed to get onto the spaceship and then head back to or at least it conveyed the comic from what I was getting at that she was trying to return back to Earth, right?
And this
birthday
was just fine
because her
dog and escaped on the
listen she was just trying to get off the planet to go back to Earth. Now,
not in the film though.
But the Crypto was dying because of arrows. He was actually injured because of arrows. No, not because of.
No,
I was giving you the
difference. There was a poison in the arrow in the film.
If you were, okay, was also hit with arrows, but because of her Kryptonian DNA, to withstand those arrows despite her injuries.
In the comics.
In the comics. But in the film, they went with a different route altogether. Mm-hmm. And that's where it kind of disappoints me, is like the structure. If they went with the world building, not a whole lot of people on the internet would be confused about the importance of the sword, because there's actually no importance to the sword. It's a sword. The sword was that they were on a planet where they needed swords. That's all I wanted. Like, that's all they had to do. That's all they had to do.
And they failed on the assignment.
No, they broke. No, it's like, no, it's more the opposite of failing this assignment. They succeeded at this assignment, but they broke all the rules of it.
You cannot tell me they succeeded at the assignment.
No, they made a movie.
They made a movie, but it wasn't
a decently good movie. Yeah, decently good movie. But I feel like they broke all the rules. They broke all the rules, and then
I pays us any attention in this rant. People are going to be like, well, you two are men. Of course you're going to be complaining about in the movie. Like, no. Okay, we have just as much to say about Krem's character. He wasn't portrayed as he was in the comic either.
Well, I mean, I haven't gotten to the part.
No, Lobo, he was...
Delete him. You could have deleted him.
You could have... There was no need for the ads. Kept hyping Lobo up to be the big bad of the... who knows the comics already knew that Krem was supposed to be the big bad, not Lobo.
Correction there. Krem...
On the ads.
There was
on the advertisement.
No. There's the thing though. Here's the thing. Getting that the main flaw, the number one flaw of this movie, Krem. Who's gonna care about the guy with all this fuck on his face?
They inserted
Krem's
Lobo
design.
Because Lobo sells.
Lobo's
a recognizable villain.
No. The Lobo's design is simple and clean. Yes, he has all this makeup on. It's
not apps, man.
Shit. Krem. Okay, granted, Krim in the comic book, he was just this ginger guy wearing some sort of like medieval, some sort of like Viking kind of like garments or whatever. Kind of a little mixture of like something northern-ish, but
Norse,
not Norse, northern. Like, anyways, the winter boots and the coats with the fur, boots with the fur.
Oh, boy was looking at her.
Anyways, he did fuck like the little.
He didn't have this whole face full of these like weird silver beads.
Yeah, he wasn't pierced or maybe. Yeah, I think he was. He probably had.
He may have been a little pierced.
It's been a while since I read the issue, but
I do
he had hair. In the movie, he did have hair. He did have orange hair, so he didn't replace the red hair.
He wasn't like clad in this of sorts.
You have several pirates that practically look the same, and Krim didn't stood out. He didn't stood out as the captain. There's nothing there for him. There's nothing advertised or friendly about him at all. You couldn't advertise him as a character at all. You couldn't advertise him as anything. It was just this weird guy. But they advertised, so the marketing. So there was because of that, there was probably no marketing for Krim when. Yeah, the marketing went towards Lobo,
which
confusing
which made me think that the main villain was going to be Lobo.
The main villain was. I think it was going to be a distraction to them.
I thought,
or at least
it could be advertising.
I
like Supergirl with.
Or something.
Yeah.
Like
the whole memo about Krim. Hold up.
Yeah.
I didn't get the whole memo about Krim until like a whole week before we went to it.
There's just a lot. Like granted, I didn't watch a whole lot of trailers, but from the one trailer, I was working in the varsity. Sorry. It's just it kept playing that one song called I can't remember the music from it. Da, 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 yeah, that's all.
I don't know.
I think it's I don't know. But when you have that song, right? That's
okay. The super strong girl boss, and so this song felt like a girl boss music.
Like when you only advertise it as like, oh, it's a girl boss movie. I was like, okay, fine, it's a girl boss movie, right? But don't advertise the villain. Yeah, what I like about a lot of the comic book movies was that they advertised the hero and the villain because you went to go and get an
classic movies. You at least had an idea of who the main antagonistic dinosaur was because they would actually show it in the ad. You got teasing images of the Indominus. In the Jurassic World: The Fallen Kingdom, you got images of the Indominus.
If it did a
you could at least
synthetic 403 says, "Yo, happy 4th, peeps." Yes,
yo, happy 4th, synthetic. Good. Talking a little bit about our thoughts on the movie Supergirl.
Spoilers.
But yeah, I've seen it. Let us know your thoughts in the comments or in the meantime, I'm just saying, like, you at least had an idea of who the main villain Superman movie.
Yeah, it was Lex
It was Lex Luthor. Even in Rebirth, Jurassic World knew that there was some sort of T-Rex.
No, I get it.
But with
Chris,
the Lobo. So I kept thinking Lobo was the main man.
now, Grit, I get it. Krem doesn't sound intimidating. It doesn't sound.
Oh yeah, I'm so scared.
But you could at least play it up. You could at least play it up.
Exactly an intimidating name either, but
no,
man hypes and man's own hype.
Well, you could have played it up a bit. They could have at least it had they gone with the comic and how the comic at least looked. You maybe change things around, right? Again, worked for this film. It would have looked good, but they're afraid of the Vikings for some reason, or the Viking attire.
They just didn't care about the male costumes at all. They were.
It's just
the female leads.
It's just Space Mad Max.
And even then, the female leads didn't get any attention to their characters whatsoever.
I didn't watch Mad Max because I didn't like the look.
It was
from Fallout 3.
Crab, you hit the. Oh!
It looks the same.
I have no memory of it.
It's Fallout 3 and
it all looks the same.
Have the same, well, the same in those games, right? They're also the same 4 as well.
Resident Evil 3 is not the same. There's only one zombie.
Imagine if you do a film based off of Resident Evil.
There are Resident Evil.
I know there are Resident Evil films, and there's probably an argument of like that they technically did or whatever, blah blah blah. But like, imagine if they did an actual Resident Evil 3 film, right? Where it's basically just the video, not the gameplay. You know, Evil 3 film, and they didn't advertise Nemesis at all. You just see a bunch of zombies all over the place. The Russian guy, there's no mention whatsoever of in maybe you show Nemesis in one trailer or whatever, straight. Or even worse, Nemesis is in the advertisement, but he looks
Nikolai.
No, quick. No, you do have Nikolai.
Look a thing like how he did in the game.
No, I did that too. But like, imagine if all the zombies looked like Nemesis. So
that would suck.
Like, what if they all looked at this? That was the problem that
Jill. Carlos. They're all the same.
That would actually make the plot of Resident Evil 3 better. So all the zombies were just
they're all.
Imagine like every enemy in the game. All the enemies that just goes. You can't progress anywhere because this is like an argument. Nemesis.
You're just stuck. You're like, Carlos, what do I do? That would be old. That would be old.
Nemesis. This is like even in the Nemesis, the actual Nemesis in the game. It's just.
The colossal Nemesis. You thought you were you thought you were dealing with the Emperor.
No, he already absolutely
with Nemesis.
He's his absolute, like he's like now.
Giga Bowser.
No, Giga Mario.
Giga Bowser.
Look if I'm Giga Bowser. He's like like Resident Evil 3, but everyone has physique.
Jill just
No, everyone has Nemesis.
Right, Carlos, get me to the helicopter. Now, Carlos, get me to the chapel. They're everywhere, Carlos. Blood, no. Jill. Jill, you must go. Brother.
Okay, fix it.
Just everyone's freaking mainline talk like
I thought he was dead.
They all talk like the peak Austrian.
So what are you gonna do to me, Jill? Shoot me? Anyways,
get down here and find out, Nikolai. Just see what my quads can do to your head.
I'm afraid. I can't do that. I'm too busy looking at my muscles. By the way, I'll send out Nemesis after you. And then there's
your games are fake and you know it. You didn't actually game those games. Only Nemesis actually gained. You just.
Well, okay. Now it's time to transition to RavenWood.
But all our thoughts on Supergirl are yes, we are the absolute definition of
the whole movie was basically like this. The sun is warming up.
Minion.
The sun.
No, you said warming up, sir. Minion. Fire.
Warming up, sir.
Sun is warming up.
A little bit closer. It's still
1 second more. Oh, I give up. All right, shut your hole. We'll get back to you.
Red sun, yellow sun, red sun.
Paradise. When the wind is cold and the fire's on. To see rocks.
Yeah, Supergirl with a samurai.
Right, we are Loba with the samurai sword. Anyways, so now we are going to transition into the second half of our game. We are continuing where we left off with Jurassic Park by Michael Crichton himself.
Man, there was a Supergirl movie, but she had to rely on samurai swords. And it's
infinitely could have been way better than the movie.
Supergirl, Metal Gear Rising. No, Supergirl Rising. You're just
Supergirl, Red Sun over Paradise, or Red Sun Samurai Shogun, or something like that.
No.
Samurai Paradise. I don't know. So working
samurai.
Space Samurai. What? The samurai from space, Vegeta. You see, the Space Samurai are like the samurai you have on Earth. But Earth, they use katanas, they use space sabers. The fuck's a space saber? They're like lightsabers, but due to branding rights, and we don't want to clash with Disney, we call them photon sabers. That's just what they did with Gundam. Yes, but you see, Fandom's not gonna risk for using photon sabers. Same with Super Smash Bros. So that the stabilized put up in space, not sabers, not lightsabers. It's the same thing, Jace. Yes, but in space. Yes, space sabers, but in space. Oh, we've been too much tonight, please.
Okay, so I fixed that. Okay, now reading with RavenWood. Starting with
Dominic Rex. And today we will resume where we left off with Michael Crichton's Jurassic Park, starting with Nedry. I think I'm too fat for this book. I'm just gonna go get myself a soda. So I finished debugging the phones. You asked me to, so I did. Oh, and just thought I'd let you know. System cycling, some of them may go on and off, but that's no biggie. I also ruined the plot of. I actually gave. Yeah, okay, there we go. I gave the director the wrong script for Supergirl. Damn it, Ned. All right, let's resume. The sign said electrified. Bro, what'd you do? You turned off the whole movie. The sign said electrified fence, 10,000 volts, do not touch. But Nedry opened it with his bare hand and unlocked the gate. Swinging it walked to the Jeep, drove through the gate. So just to recap, the reason why he did it with the because at this time, all the power has been turned off. Oh yeah, Raven just posted in chat that we are now on to the reading section of the 4th of July stream. So if you didn't want to be spoiled, the Supergirl, if you just hear anything
skip
about
to the
Supergirl,
2 hour and 12 minute mark.
Yeah, skip to the 2 hour and 12 minute mark, and you'll see we are starting here in Nedry. All right. Now he was inside the park itself. No more than a mile from the east dock. He stepped on the accelerator and hunched forward over the steering wheel, peering through the rain-slashed windshield as he drove the Jeep down the narrow road. He was driving fast. He had to keep to his timetable. He was surrounded on all sides by black jungle. But soon he should be able to see the beach and the ocean off to his left. This damned storm, he thought. It might screw everything up. Because if Dodson's boat wasn't waiting for him at the east dock when Nedry got there, the whole plan would be ruined. Nedry couldn't wait very long, or he would be missed back at the control room. The whole idea behind the plan was that he could drive to the east dock, drop off the embryos, and be back in a few minutes before anyone noticed. It was a good plan, a clever plan. Nedry worked on it carefully.
I love this plan.
Refining every detail. This plan was going to make him $1.5 mega. That was 10 years of income in a single tax-free shot, and it was going to change his life. Nedry had been damn careful, even to the point of making Dodson meet him in the San Francisco airport at the money. Actually, Nedry wanted to record his conversation with Dodson and mention him by name on the tape, just so that Dodson wouldn't forget he owed the rest of the money. Nedry was including a copy of the tape. Sure, Nedry had thought of everything, except this damned storm. You can't predict Mother Nature, people have been trying to tell you for years. Something dashed across the road, a white flash in his headlights. It looked like a large rat. It scurried into the underbrush, dragging a fat tail. Possum. Amazing that a possum could survive here. You'd think the dinosaurs would get an animal like that. Possum is one of the most resilient animals. Where was that damned doc? He was driving fast, and he'd already been gone for 5 minutes. He should have reached the East Dock by now. Had he taken a wrong turn? He didn't think so. He hadn't seen any forks on the road at all. Then where was the dock?
The dock.
It was a shock when he came around a corner and saw in a gray concrete barrier. 6 feet tall and streaked dark with rain. He slammed on the brakes and the Jeep fishtailed, losing traction in an end-to-end spin, and for a to smash into the barrier. He knew he was going to smash.
That's you like.
Damn it. Yeah, not that kind of smash, Nedry. And he spun the wheel frantically, and the Jeep slid to a stop. The headlamps just a foot from the. He paused there, listening to the rhythmic flick of the wipers. He took a deep breath and exhaled slowly. He looked down the road. He'd obviously taken a wrong turn somewhere. He could retrace his steps, but that would take too long. He'd better try and find out where the hell he was. He got out of the Jeep, feeling heavy raindrops spatter his head. It was a real tropical storm, raining so hard that it hurt. He glanced at his watch. Pushing the button to illuminate the digital dial. 6 minutes gone. Where the hell was he? He walked around the concrete barrier, and on the other side, along with the rain, he heard the sound of gurgling water. Could it be the ocean? Nedry hurried forward, his eyes adjusting to the darkness as he went. Dense jungle on all sides, raindrops slapping the leaves. The gurgling sound became louder, drawing him forward, and suddenly he came out of the foliage and felt his feet sink into the soft earth and saw the dark currents of the river. The river! He was at the jungle river! Damn, he thought. At the river where? The river ran for miles.
The river why?
No, the river where?
Oh.
The river ran for miles through this island. He looked at his watch again. 7 minutes gone. You have a problem, Dennis, he said aloud. As if in reply, there was a soft hooting cry of an owl in the forest.
Yes, shut up.
Nedry hardly noticed. He was worrying about a plan. The plain fact was that time had run out. There wasn't a choice anymore. He had to abandon his original plan. All he'd do was go back to the control room, restore the drop at the East Dock for the following night. Nedry, but he thought he could pull it off. The computer automatically logged all calls. After Nedry got through the Dodson, he'd have to go back into the computer and erase the record of the call. But one thing was sure, he couldn't stay out in the park any longer, or his absence would be noticed. Nedry started back, heading toward the glow of the car's headlights. Miserable. He heard the soft hooting cry once more, and this time he paused. That hadn't really sounded like an owl, and it seemed to be close by. As he listened, he heard a crash, then silence. He waited and heard it again. A crash. Distinctly like something big, moving slowly through the jungle towards him.
I would just get a car.
Something near. A big dinosaur. Get out of here. He began to run. He made a lot of noise as he ran, but even so, he could hear the animal crashing through the foliage and hooting. It was coming closer. Clawing his way past dripping branches, he saw the Jeep ahead and the light shining around the vertical wall of the barrier. In a moment, he'd be in the car and get the hell out of here. He scrambled around the barrier, and then he froze. The animal was already there. But it wasn't close. The dinosaur stood 40 feet away, at the edge of the illumination from the headlights. Nedry hadn't taken the tour, so he hadn't seen the different types of dinosaurs. But this one was strange looking. The 10-foot tall body was yellow with black spots, and along the head ran a pair of red V-shaped crests. But again gave its soft hooting cry. They waited to see if it would attack. It didn't. Perhaps the head from the Jeep frightened it, forcing it to keep its distance like a fire. The dinosaur stared at them, and in a single swift motion, Nedry felt something smack wetly against his chest. He looked down and saw a dripping glob of foam on his rain-soaked shirt. He touched it curiously, not comprehending. It was spit. The dinosaur had spit on him. It was creepy, he thought. He looked back at the dinosaur and saw the head snap again, and immediately felt another wet smack against his neck, just above the shirt collar. But the skin of his neck was already starting to itch, tingle, and burn. And his hand was tingling too. Acid. Yeah, this wasn't the... Nedry opened the car door, glancing back at the dinosaur to make sure it wasn't going to attack. Sudden, excruciating, stabbing like spikes, and he squeezed his eyes shut. threw up his hands to cover his eyes and felt the slippery sides of his nose. Spit. The dinosaur had spit in his eyes. Even as he realized it, the pain overwhelmed him, and he dropped to his knees, disoriented, wheezing, collapsed onto his side, his cheek pressed to the wet ground, his breath coming in thin whistles through the constant, ever-screaming pain that caused flashing spots of light to appear behind his tightly shut eyelids. The earth shook beneath him, and Nedry knew the dinosaur was moving. He could hear its soft hooting cry. He forked his eyes open, and still he saw nothing but flashing spots against black. Slowly the realization came to him. He was blind. The hooting was louder as Nedry's skin scrambled to his feet and staggered back against the side panel of the car as a wave of nausea and dizziness swept over him. The dinosaur was close now. He could feel it coming close. He was dimly aware of its smell, but he couldn't see it. He couldn't see anything, and his terror was extreme. He stretched out his hands, waving them wildly in the air to ward off the attack he knew was coming. And then there was a new, searing, fiery knife in his belly, and Nedry stumbled, reaching blindly down to touch the ragged edge of his shirt, and then a thick, slippery mass that was surprisingly warm, and with horror, holding his own intestines in his hands. The dinosaur had torn him open. His guts had fallen out. Nedry fell to the ground and landed on something scaly and cold. It was the animal's foot. And then there was new pain on both sides of his head. As he was lifted to his feet, he knew the dinosaur had his head in its jaws. And the horror of that realization was followed by a final wish that it would all be ended soon. Move on to the next segment.
That was heavy. The pause, let me.
Pretty dark compared to the movies version, huh?
Broski.
Bro was shocked. Types of acidic spit. Got spit on the shirt, got spit on the neck, got spit in the face. He went blind as a result of that spit, not just screaming in pain. It felt like acid on his skin, and he struggled to breathe. He couldn't see the Dilophosaurus, because it's obvious that was the Dilophosaurus, gutted him open, then watched with curiosity as he fell onto his foot. Well, she, because the dinosaur is female. As Nedry fell onto her foot, and then she just lightly, turned her head, picked his head up in her jaws until he was back on his feet. She just basically went, oh no, sweet. When we're done. Picked him back up, leaving Nedry to hope that she would end his life. Something tells me that this Dilophosaurus was going to make him suffer. No, because we're on to the next segment. the bungalow.
No, he's dead.
Nedry's definitely dead. I get the feeling his death was not quick and painless. I get the feeling he suffered. Read bungalow.
Let's go for a bathroom break real quick. You stay here, and I'll.
Well, how about this? I'll just read bungalow while you're in the bathroom, and then you can read Tim.
No, you talk about the death.
You'll have to excuse Raven. Not very good with blood, gore, and death scenes. He gets very squeamish very easily. I mean, I'm similar. We both have weak constitutions when it comes to blood and guts and the like. I say that, and yet at the same time, in one of the rough drafts of the novel that Raven and I are working on, in one of the rough drafts, I wrote an entire scene where one of the main antagonists gutted one of the main characters open and like scooped out all of his internals, hollowing him out inside before like prying his ribs open and splitting him the rest of the way open. So like this, obviously I get inspiration from this, but like when I wrote that in the draft, again, many drafts that I had written. I'll probably keep it. And, but tell me, what did you think? If you've read the book, the novel by Michael Crichton, what are your thoughts on the book's handling of Nedry's death versus the movie's handling of Nedry's death? Did you like the movie better, or did you like the book better? All right, Raven's back. We can continue.
Sorry,
into the next segment. The bungalow.
I'll read.
Want me to get some of the grape juice?
Yeah.
And I'll pour you a glass. Be right back, everyone.
More coffee. Hammond asked politely. No, thank you, Henry Wu said, leaning back in his chair.
You're not too Sidious's. Give Henry Wu.
No, I was getting Henry Wu more of the Henry Wu voice. I was. I eat anything more. They were sitting in the dining room of Hammond's bungalow in a secluded corner of the park. Not
that good enough?
Yeah, that's good enough. Who had to admit that the bungalow Hammond had built for himself was elegant, with sparse, almost Japanese lines.
I'll go ahead and throw this.
Lines. And the dinner had been. Excuse me, I said. I did. And dinner had been excellent, considering the dining room wasn't fully staffed yet. But there was something about Hammond that Wu found troubling. The old man was different in some way, subtly different. All during dinner, Wu had tried to decide what it was. In part, a tendency to ramble, to repeat himself, to retell old stories. In part, it was an emotional liability, flaring anger one moment, maudlin sentimentality the next. Sorry. You gave me a second to pronounce words. But all that could be understood as a natural. Okay, that's just something else that I don't care about. Where was I? Okay. Concomitant of age. Concomitant of age. I never read this word before. John Hammond was, after all, almost 77. But there was something else, a stubborn evasiveness, an insistence on having his way, and, in the end, a complete refusal to deal with the situation that now faced the park. Wu had been stunned by the evidence. He did not yet allow himself to believe the case was proved that the dinosaurs were breeding. After Grant had asked about amphibian DNA, Wu had intended to go directly to his laboratory and check the computer records of the various DNA assemblies. Because if the dinosaurs were in fact breeding, then everything about Jurassic Park was called into question. The genetic development methods, the genetic control methods, everything. Then everything about Jurassic Park was questioned. Everything. Even the lysine dependency might be suspect. Lysine dependency, yes. Not lysine contingency, lysine dependency. Might be suspect, might be sus. Sorry. And if these animals could truly breed and could also survive in the wild, Henry Wu wanted to check the data once, but Hammond had stubbornly insisted Wu accompany him at dinner. Now then, Henry, you must save room for ice cream. Hammond said, pushing back from the table. Maria makes the most wonderful ginger ice cream. All right. Wu looked at the beautiful silent serving girl. His eyes followed her out of the room, and then he glanced up at the single video monitor mounted in the wall. The monitor was dark. Your monitor's out, Wu said. Is it? Hammond glanced over. Must be the store. He reached behind him for the telephone. I'll just check with John in control. Boo could hear the static crackle. Hammond shrugged and set the receiver back in its cradle. Lines must be down, he said. Or maybe Nedry's still doing data transmission. He has quite a few bugs to fix this weekend. Nedry's a genius in his way. Nedry's a genius in his way, but we had to press him. quite hard toward the end to make sure he got things right. Perhaps I should go to the control room and check, Wu said. No, Emmett said. There's no reason. If there were any problem, we'd hear about it. Maria came back into the room with 2 plates of ice cream.
You never get introduced to Maria in the movie. Shadow. Maria. Shadow the light.
Okay,
Maria.
Maria
What are
is
you
the blonde.
doing?
Yeah, that now Maria is Maria.
I'm sorry, Shadow. Move on. I'm still fucking dead.
You must have a little, Henry, Hammond said. It's made with fresh ginger from the eastern part of the island. Shut up, rhyme style.
Rhythm still.
No, I said.
No, you follow his Twitter?
No, it was on YouTube.
Oh. All right, well, pay no attention to the man behind the shirt.
Give me a second. Huh. Odd.
YouTube does that weird thing. Also wishing everyone happy 4th of July since it is midnight.
We'll continue reading for a bit longer.
A bit longer, but cheers to all of you.
Yeah.
We are the Americans. We do another, but we drink to you, friends. I will go ahead and turn off Dune's lamp. She doesn't need it on for help. My health. Bro, at this stupid cupcake call.
Where was it?
Shut up, cricket.
That it's an old man's vice. Ice cream, but still, dutifully, Will dipped his spoon. Outside, lightning flashed. Flash!
They call him Flash, 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 Eagle.
And there was the sharp crack of thunder. That was close, Wu said. I hope the storm isn't frightening the children.
The children, they're out there for their lives.
I
just frightening them.
think so, Herman said. He tasted the ice cream. Here was a comment on something else. What was I? I think so, Herman said. Inwardly, Will felt perhaps the old man was going to face what, the dress part really made for children. The children of the world love dinosaurs. Children are going to delight, just delight, in this place. Their little faces will shine with the joy of finally seeing these wonderful animals. But I am afraid. Mine is yes, Hammond said, that I may not live to see the shining the light. Their faces, shining faces. Do you remember? No, you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay.
I remember a lot of the before.
The shining, delighted faces. This is our triumph, Park. We have done what we set out to do. Our original intent was to use the newly emerging technology of genetic engineering. Money, a lot of money. Make money great again. Sorry. Excuse me. Wu knew Hammond was about to launch into one of his old speeches. He held up his hand.
Make Jurassic Park great. Oh, living law.
And I'm familiar with this, John. If you are going to start a bioengineering company, Henry, what would you do?
What would you do?
I was going to make. What would you make products to help? You would make products to help mankind to fight illnesses and disease. Would you make products to help mankind to fight illnesses and disease? That's a terrible idea. A very poor use of technology.
What do you mean it's a terrible idea? Do you have any idea how many people we could be?
It's just a guy making AI technology. Yeah, AI. Yes. Instead of using it to kill cancer, I use it to make.
Run with that.
Yes. I will use AI to my advantage.
Not AI.
Generated dinosaurs. We will generate dinosaurs from perfect.
That too dangerous.
Hammond shook his head sadly. Yet you'll remember, he said, the original genetic.
Let me see.
Genentech and Cetus were Cetus? Okay. Cetus were all started to make new drugs for mankind. Noble purpose. Drugs of FDA testing alone 5 to 8 years. If you're lucky. Even worse, that workforce in the marketplace. Suppose you make a miracle drug, heart disease, genetic. Suppose you change $1,000 or $2,000. You might imagine that is your privilege. After all, you invented the drug. You paid and tested. You should be able to charge whatever you wish. But do you really think I would let you do that? No, Henry, they will not. Sick people aren't going to pay thousands of dollars for needed medication. They won't be grateful. They will be outraged. Blue Cross is they'll scream highway wowie. Sorry, scream highway. Something will happen. One wild guy for the benefit of the world. Instead of so he's not like, no, don't do it at all. He's saying, do it.
You can't.
He's not saying don't do it for the benefit of the world. Saying don't do it if there's not a certain way to get it out now.
Yeah.
It's costly.
No, I understand that. People are smart enough to understand that. If you're not, then you stupid.
Yeah, that's where Rebirth, the protagonists of Rebirth have it wrong. It's they have to cure FDA approved and all our other stuff. So nobody, right?
Well,
there's a lot of pencil pushing.
They're planning to share it with the world, not to share it with one mega corporation.
The problem is then the problem with not the problem is the lack of research to make sure that you cooperate with the company to get things done quicker.
In a lot of ways, it's both a good idea, but it's also a bad idea.
Yeah, there's to do a lot of thinking for that.
But I get.
I understand, don't do it for greed.
I get the feeling this will real quickly come back to bite them in the ass if what I think is going to happen does happen, and I'm trying to remember his name. Whoever was the screenwriter for Jurassic World Rebirth, he was the original screenwriter for Jurassic Park as well. I'm trying to remember. It wasn't Gareth Edwards. Gareth Edwards was the director. I'm trying to remember. His name always escapes me when I.
Well, think about that. But there's also a bit greedy right here as well. That Hammond is also coming from a perspective of well.
No, I'm saying when I look it up on the phone.
No, let me look it up real quick.
I can look it up. I know how to use a phone.
David Cope.
David Kep. That's how you pronounce
Kep.
it. If I know it's pronounced Kep. If David Kep is going the way many people speculate he's going, then 5 or Rebirth 2 will go in a direction where they finally introduced the DX, the main focus of Jurassic Park: The Lost World.
Anyways,
if the DX virus does get introduced, I imagine the cause of it would be from the Isle of Saint Hubert. And I imagine that the reason they let in Rebirth is so that they can have it, or more importantly, its blood, be the main store for the DX virus in the next film, because for some reason the D-Rex, or the Distortus Rex, is completely immune to the DX virus, but they're gonna have to go and find it.
well, no, I think it's kind of.
I'm saying that's my theory. I think if we in the Jurassic community know what we think we know, if we can guess what David Kep is going to do next, he may introduce the DX virus in the next movie. The reason Tortoise was left alive was so that it could be reintroduced in the next movie as the main source for a cure for the DX virus.
Anyways, the Scream Highway Huawei. So something will happen. Your patent application will be denied. Force you to see reason and to sell your drug at a lower cost. From a business standpoint, that makes helping mankind a very risky business. Personally, I would never help mankind. But risk, with great risk comes great reward. That's the problem with Hammond's mindset here, is that he sees it with too much. He's seeing all the too much risk here with technology.
But notice that the speech at the table is happening with him and Dr. Wu, and not with Ellie Sattler, like did in the movie.
Yeah. Well, but also the speech is also different.
The speech is also completely different. It's over corporate greed instead of Hammond's dream.
Yeah.
Because in the book, he's a greedy businessman, but
and he knew Hammond was right. So he knew Hammond was right. Some new fine engineered pharmaceuticals had indeed suffered inexplicable delays and patent problems.
Patent problem.
Yeah. Now, Hammond said.
You did not say patent.
Yes, I did.
You said patent.
I did. I know for a cent.
You may have thought you said that,
okay.
But you said patent. We can go back and check the footage. What's going on?
I'll let you know afterwards.
No, let me read.
No, it's my phone. I'll tell you afterwards. I'll tell you afterwards.
Mom asked, or I can walk out.
No, Mom just simply, let me tell you.
Okay, tell me.
Mom asked what the
well, that's fresh out.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
The grape juice.
No, it's not grape juice. It's sparkling.
It is juice. Sparkling red grape juice.
Well, fine, whatever. Now, Hammond said, think how different it is when you're making entertainment. Nobody needs entertainment. That's not a matter for government intervention. If I charge $1 a day for my park, stop me. After all, nobody needs to come here. And far from being highway wobbly, a costly rising tag actually increases the appeal of the park. Because love that. So do the Japanese. And of course, they have far money.
It's not always about the money.
Hammond finished his ice cream. Maria silently took the dish away.
Maria!
She's not from here, you know. She's her mother's French. Oh, and so she's not from here, you know. She's Haitian. Haitian. Sorry. She's Haitian. Her mother is French. But in any case,
Yeah, you're French.
Henry, you will recall that the original purpose behind pointing my company in this direction in the first place is to have freedom into anywhere in the world. Speaking of the rest of the world, Hammond smiled. We have already leased a large tract in the Azores. Azores for Jurassic Park Europe. Oh, that'd be kind of cool if that. And you know, long ago, and you know, we long ago obtained an island, Guam. Guam. Is that to pronounce Guam?
Yeah, Guam.
Oh, sorry.
I wasn't looking to.
Yeah, but you like.
I looked to confirm Guam.
Yeah, Guam for Jurassic Park. Yeah. Oh, that's in Guam.
You imagine Guam is near Japan.
I know that, but like.
Imagine if like for the sequels,
Just like a dinosaur with a katana.
No, imagine if like they took whoever's in charge of directing the next movies like took some inspiration from this, and so there's like a Jurassic Park Europe, or like the next movie takes place in Guam or
Guam.
Like,
Mama likes Guam.
or maybe even do a shout out to that he had set aside that kingdom. Like, what if that island he was talking about was Guam?
Okay.
Continue.
No, I was. I'm just trying to.
Jurassic Park, Japan.
I know that. I'm just trying to that. Construction on the next 2 Jurassic Parks will begin early next year. They will all be open within 4 years. At that time, revenues will
Revenues.
That's why I said revenues will exceed $10 billion a year, and merchandise, television, and a calorie and a celery
Ancillary rights.
and ancillary rights should double that. I see no reason to bother with children's pets, which I am told Lou Dodson thinks we're planning to make. $20 billion a year, Wu said softly, shaking his head. Yes. Conservatively. And there's no reason to speculate wildly. More ice cream in.
No, thank you. I'm on a diet.
Did you find him? Arnold snapped. Oh, Mr. Arnold, find him. I don't think he's in the building. Then look in the loft. Look in the utility shed. Look everywhere. But just find him.
All right.
The thing is, the guard hesitated. Mr. Nidri, the family. Is that right? That's right, Arnold said. He's fat. Well, Jimmy down in the main lobby, he go into the garage. Mom's been wrong. Into the garage. When? About go. Jesus. The Jeep screeched to a stop. Harding said, in the headlamps, Ellie saw a herd of apatosaurs lumbering across the road. There were 6 animals, each the size of a horse, each the size of a house.
I know. You did.
And is a full grown in an unhurried silence. Okay, back up. Never looking toward the Jeep headlights. To lap water from a puddle in the road, then move. A comparable herd of elephants would have been startled by the arrival of a car, would have trumpeted and circled to protect the baby, but these animals showed no fear. Don't they see us? She said. No, not exactly. No, Harding said. Of course, since they do see us. But we don't mean anything. We hardly ever take cars out and only have an environment representing no threat and therefore no interest.
No familiarity. You didn't bother to familiarize any of the animals with this stuff.
I've occasionally been out at night visiting a sick animal on my way back. More. What do you do? Harding grinned. Play a recorded tyrannosaur roar. That gets them moving. Not that they care much about tyrannosaurs. These apatosaurs are so big they don't really have any predators. They could break a tyrannosaur's neck with a swipe of their tail, and they'll know it, and so does the tyrannosaur.
Tell them that by the Indominus and tell that to the multiple apatosaurs that got brutally murdered in Jurassic World.
Okay.
Or the many sauropods in the Jurassic World evolution series that for some reason the game developer won't allow the sauropod to fight back. That's all we ask for. Just give them a fight animation.
Anyways. And then so does the tyrannosaur. But they do see us. I mean, if we were to get a car, Harding shrugged, dinosaurs have excellent visual acuity, but they have a basic amphibian visual system. They don't see unmoving things well. The animals in the ring. Harding put the car in gear. I think we can continue now.
The pilot just going.
Wu said, "I'm still sparing though. There are pressures in genetics drugs," he said, and Hammond had moved to the living room. I can't see. Excuse me. I can't see how, Hammond said. The scientists wish to constrain you, even to stop you. Well, they can't do that, Hammond said. He shook his finger at Wood. You know why the scientists would try to do that. It's because they want to do research, of course. And all they ever want to do is not to accomplish anything. Just do.
It's all science is for.
Well, can be then. I'm thinking of that. I'm sure it would be interesting for the scientists to do research, but you arrive at the point where these animals are simply too used for research. This is wonderful technology, Henry, but it's also frightfully expensive technology. The fact is, it can only be supported as entertainment. Hammond shrugged. That's just the way it is. But if there are attempts to close down, but if there are attempts to close down, face the damn facts, Henry, Hammond said irritably. This isn't America. This is America.
This is America.
This isn't even Costa Rica. This is my island. I own it. And nothing is going to stop me from opening the Jurassic Park to all the children. And when
the Senate.
I am the island.
Not yet.
Or, he chuckled. Or at least the rich ones. And I tell you, the Jeep. In the back of the Jeep, Alex stared out the window. Rain-drenched jungle for the last 20 minutes.
It's still raining sideways out here.
Huh? And said doors across the road. Oh, I just thought of something. Dennis Nedry. Like, oh, where's this in the car? That's split. That's the splitter.
The line. I've seen your stand, Dennis Nedry. It's on the way.
Okay.
Kind of like Theo versus Joss. Go ahead, Mr. Joss.
We're near the jungle river now, Harding said as he drove off. Is there somewhere to our left? Abruptly, he slammed on the brakes again.
All of a sudden, I can based on the book's description, like there wasn't any frill. It was just went up the neck when the Dilophosaurus bit. Just imagine it went like.
More like the.
No,
like
it didn't have the.
No, it's a little bit like a sprinkler.
No, it had that swift neck. Like a sudden split.
No, sudden.
Like,
we don't like your New Yorkers here. Who.
Pretty much. Anyways, continue.
We'll save. I think we should save Tim and onwards for the next live stream. Yeah, I feel like that's the best. You, me. That's how it goes.
But I don't get another turn, so we can smooth it out to a nice 4.
No.
Oh.
3 hours has been long enough. Besides, we spent 2 of those hours just picking up my Supergirl. Anyways.
Is part of the stream?
No, it's fine.
Bootsy, are you looking at you or no? You sure about that?
Yeah, that's fine. Besides, Tim, I feel like if we get to the exciting thing next time, save it on a cliffhanger, right? But anyways, I'm not here yet. Where is it? Slamming the brakes again. The car skidded to a stop in front of a flock of small green animals. Well, you're getting quite a show tonight, he said. Those are compies. Pro-compsognaths, I thought. Wishing that Grant were here to... This was the animal they had seen in the facts back in Montana. The little dark green pro-compsognaths scurried to the other side of the road, then squatted on their hind legs to look at the car, cheering briefly before hurrying onward into the night.
Did the mention those little compies, but like the minions? But
the and those giant sauropods, right?
Yeah, Apatosaurs.
Like, it's so weird. Like, okay, so
the
you have the scale
are so massive that nothing threatens.
But we're so massive to the compy. I've noticed doing something.
Hold up. What are you doing?
I noticed that where.
Wait a minute.
Let me cook.
Cheeto? Yeah, the Apatosaurs don't really care because they're so massive.
But the
compies care.
It's like the reverse. Our experiencing them.
Well,
we care about the Apatosaurs.
We're not so much compared to the compies as the Apatosaurs.
No,
the Apatosaurs are to the compies. To the compy, the Apatosaurs are basically just out of their league. But us,
the
compies can be taken down.
No, we are like the Apatosaurs as the Apatosaurs to us. They're giants. We're their giants.
Are you sure about that?
Yes, it's scaling. It's all about perspective. Think about it. The perspective between a compy and you. You're bigger.
They come up to right around here.
Yeah, but you're like a giant.
Yep, but I mean,
to be fair, the ones in the movies are kind of smaller than the ones in.
Pretty size accurate.
Oh, okay. Well, they seem small enough. Is what I'm saying. Like when you compare it to that small little girl, though.
They can pretty.
Regardless,
they can pretty easily take you down.
But regardless, they're small. We're big, right?
Yeah,
we're more
raptors bigger than we are.
Oh, I know that, but that's not what I'm getting at. I'm saying, like, in the term of relativity, that's what this scene's supposed to represent to you.
Maybe.
It's not perfect because, like, a bug would be better. Anyways, Harding odd. Harding said, "Wonder where they off to." Copy. No, they climb up in a tree and wait for daylight. Then where are they out now? Ellie said, I can't imagine. Excuse me. I can't imagine. You know, compies are scavengers, like buzzards. They are attracted to a dying animal, and they have tremendously sensitive smell. They have tremendously sensitive dying animal for miles. Then they're going to a dying animal. Dying or already. Should we follow them? Ellie said. I'd be curious, Harding said. Yes, well, why not? Let's go see where they're going. They turned the car around and headed back toward the copies. Tim.
When you let me read this, and then
no, I feel like it'd be a nice
close it from here.
I feel like it'd be a nice cliffhanger.
I know, but I can leave it on a cliffhanger. Lex.
Oh.
So why don't you let me read too?
Lex must be still alive then. I thought she was eaten.
Well, we won't know until we get there. That can be the cliffhanger.
Okay. Fine, I guess we'll read Tim's perspective because.
On to the next segment. Tim lay in the Land Cruiser.
Oh, I'll only next chapter tomorrow. Not tomorrow. Next stream. Think about it. You got to read like a very important part of the book, which was Nedry's death. Right? You got to read that.
That
right?
wasn't really that important. You got to read.
It was.
You got to read the more important part, actually. You did. Nedry's was a brief segment, and that was just him getting killed.
Fine, whatever. Yeah.
Tim Murphy lay in the Land Cruiser, his cheek pressed against the car door handle. He drifted slowly back to consciousness. He wanted only to sleep. He shifted his position and felt the pain in his cheekbone where it lay against the metal door. His whole body ached. His arms and his legs and most of all his head. There was pain made him want to go back to sleep.
Sorry, I just noticed there was a slightly crooked. There's a slight.
Yeah, okay. He pushed himself up one elbow, vomiting all over his shirt.
Okay.
He tasted sour bile and wiped his mouth with the back of his hand. His head throbbed. He felt dizzy and seasick, as if the world were moving, as if he were rocking back and forth on a boat. Tim groaned and rolled onto his back, turning away from the puddle of vomit. The pain in his head made him breathe in short, shallow gasps, and he still felt sick, as if everything were moving. He opened his eyes and looked around, trying to get his bearings. He was inside the Land Cruiser, but the car must have flipped over on its side, looking up at the steering wheel and beyond, at the branches of a tree, moving in the wind. The rain had nearly stopped, but the water drops still fell on him through the broken front windshield. He stared curiously at the fragments of glass. He couldn't remember how the windshield had broken. He couldn't remember anything except that they had been parked on the road. And he had been talking to Dr. Grant when the Tyrannosaur came toward them. That was the last thing he remembered. Blunt force trauma. Him. He felt sick again and closed his eyes until the nausea passed. He was aware of a rhythmic creaking sound, like the rigging of a boat. Dizzy and sick to his stomach, he really felt as if the whole car were moving beneath him. But when he opened his eyes again, he saw it was true. The Land Cruiser was moving, lying on its side, swaying back and forth. The whole car was moving. Tentatively, Tim rose to his feet. Standing on the passenger door, he peered over the dashboard, looking out through the shattered windshield. At first, he saw only dense foliage moving in the wind. But here and there, he could see gaps, and beyond the foliage, the ground was 20 feet below him. He stared uncomprehendingly. The Land Cruiser was lying on its side in the branches of a large tree, 20 feet above the ground, swaying back and forth in the wind. Oh, shit. What was he going to do? He stood on his tiptoes and peered out, trying to see better, grabbing the steering wheel for support. Notice he's doing all without Dr. Grant. The wheel spun free in his hand with a loud crack. The Land Cruiser shifted position, dropping a few feet in the branches of the tree. He looked onto the shattered glass of the passenger door window. Oh shit, oh shit, he kept repeating. Oh shit, oh shit. Another loud crack. The Land Cruiser jolted down another foot. He had to get out of here. He looked down at his feet. He was standing on the door handle. He crouched back down on his hands and knees to look at the handle. He couldn't see very well in the dark, but he could tell the door was dented outward. But the handle couldn't turn. He moved the door open. He tried to roll the window down, but the window. Then he thought of the back door. Maybe he could open that. He leaned over the front seat. The Land Cruiser lurched with the shifting weight. Carefully, Tim reached back and twisted the handle on the rear door. It was stuck too. How was he going to get out? He heard a snorting sound and looked down. A dark shape passed below him. It was. This shape was heavy and made a kind of snuffling as it waddled along. The tail flopped back and forth, and Tim could see the long spikes.
Hold on.
Yield to me. There we go. A dark shape passed below him. It wasn't the Tyrannosaur. This shape was tubby, and it made a kind of snuffling as it waddled along. The tail flopped back and forth. It was the Stegosaur, apparently recovered from its illness. Tim wondered where the other people were. Gennaro and Sattler and the vet. He had last seen them near the Stegosaur. How long ago was that? He looked at his watch. It was cracked. He couldn't see the numbers. He took the watch off and tossed it aside. The stegosaurus snuffled, and moved on. Now the only sound was the wind in the trees and the creaking of the Land Cruiser as it shifted back and forth. He had to get out of here. Tim grabbed and tried to force it, but it was stuck solid. It wouldn't move at all. Then he realized what was wrong. The door was locked. He pulled up the pin and twisted the handle. One and came to rest against the branch a few feet below it. The opening was narrow, but Tim thought through it. Holding his breath, he crawled slowly back into the rear seat. The Land Cruiser creaked, but held its position. Gripping the doorposts on both sides, Tim slowly lowered himself down. Through the narrow opening of the door. Soon he was lying flat on his stomach on a slanted door, his legs sticking out of the car. Eating something solid, a branch, and he rested his weight on it. As soon as he did, the branch bent down and the door swung, spilling him out of the Land Cruiser, and he fell. Leaves scratching his face, his body bouncing from branch to branch. My goodness. Ugh. A jolt, searing pain, bright light in his head. He slammed to a stop. The wind knocked from him. Tim lay doubled over a large branch. His stomach burning in pain. Tim heard another crack and looked up at the Land Cruiser, a big dark shape 5 feet above him. Another crack. The car shifted. Tim forced himself to move, to climb down. He used to like to climb trees. He was a good tree climber, and this was a good tree to climb. The branches spaced closely together, almost like a staircase. Crack. The car was definitely moving. Tim scrambled downward, slipping over the wet branches, feeling sticky sap on his hands, hurrying. He had not descended more than a few feet when the Land Cruiser creaked a final time, and then slowly, very slowly. No. Tim could see the big green grill lights swinging down, gaining momentum as it rushed toward against the branch where Tim had just been, and it stopped. His face inches from the dented grill, bent inward like an evil mouth, headlamps for eyes, or dripped on Tim's face. He was still 12 feet above the ground. He reached down, found another branch, and moved down. Above, he saw the branch bending under the weight of the Land Cruiser, and then it cracked. And the Land Cruiser came rushing down towards him, and he knew he could never escape it. He could never get down fast enough. So Tim just let go. He fell the rest of the way. Tumbling, banging, feeling pain in every part of his body, hearing the Land Cruiser smashing down through the branches after him like a pursuing animal. And then Tim's shoulder hit the soft ground, and he rolled as hard as he could against the trunk of the crash, and a sudden hot burst of electrical sparks that stung his skin and sputtered and sizzled on the wet ground around him. Oof, excuse me. Slowly, Tim got to his feet. In the darkness, he heard the snuffling and saw the stegosaur coming back. Apparently, a truck crashed at the Land Cruiser. The dinosaur moved dumbly, and big cartilaginous plates running in 2 rows along the hump of the back.
Well, back in the car again.
It behaved like an overgrown tortoise, stupid like that, and slow. Tim picked up a rock and threw it. Get away! Pulling off the plates. The stegosaur kept coming. Go on! He threw another rock and hit it on the head. The animal grunted, turned slowly away, and shuffled off in the direction it had come. Tim leaned against the crumpled Land Cruiser and looked around in the darkness. He had to get back to the others, but he didn't want to. He knew he was somewhere in the park. His bearings. He couldn't see much in the dark, but then he remembered the goggles. He climbed through the shattered front engine into the Land Cruiser. Vision goggles and the radio. The radio was broken and silent, so he left it behind. But the goggles still worked. He flicked them on, saw the reassuringly familiar. The goggles, he saw the battered fence off to his left, and this was 12 feet into the main. Tim hurried across it, moving through an area of dense foliage, and came out onto the main road.
Tim smarter.
Through his goggles, the other Land Cruiser turned on its side. Where had they gone? Are you kidding me? You had to.
I just looked away for a second. I was like,
Through the goggles, he saw the other. He ran towards it, looked inside. Of Dr. Grant and Dr. Malcolm. Where had they gone?
Oh, this is the other car?
Yes. Gone. Oh, my back. Something stabbed my back. He felt sudden panic, standing alone in the jungle road at night with that empty car. He turned quickly in circles, seeing the bright green world in the goggles swirl. Something pale by the side of the road caught his eye. It was Lex's baby. Wiped the mud off it. Lex! Tim shouted as loud as he could, not caring at the animal. And the plink of raindrops falling. Lex! He vaguely remembered that she had been in the Land Cruiser when the Tyrannosaurus stayed there, or had she gotten away? He wasn't exactly sure what had happened. Just to think of it made him uneasy, gasping with panic. Lex! Night closed in around him. Feeling sorry for himself, he sat in a cold, rainy puddle on the road and whimpered for a while. When he finally saw it was faint, and it was somewhere farther up the road. How long has it been? Muldoon coming back into the control room. Metal case.
Dun, dun, dun.
Half an hour. Be back by here. Arnold stubbed a cigarette. Then still no sign of Nedry, Muldoon said. No, not yet. Muldoon opened the case, which contained 6 portable radios. People in the building. He handed one to Arnold. The charger too. These are emergency radios, but nobody had them plugged in. Charge about 20 minutes, and then Henry Wu opened the door marked fertilization and entered the lab. Nobody here. All the was Wu went directly to the computer terminal and punched up the DNA log. Species required 10 gigabytes of optimal disk space to store DNA. He was going to have to check all 15 species. That was the
Maybe that sentence. I don't know. And we're back. Sorry for the scuff, everyone. Sorry for the scuff.
After all, most DNA in living creatures was exactly the same. DNA was an incredibly ancient substance. Human beings walking around in the streets of the modern world, bouncing their pink new babies, hardly stopped to think that the substance at the center of it all, the substance that began the dance of life, was a chemical almost as old as the Earth itself. The DNA molecule was so old that its evolution had essentially finished more than 2 billion years ago. There had been little new since that time, just a few recent combinations of the old genes, and not much of that. When you compared the DNA of man and the DNA of a lowly bacterium, you found that only about 10% of the strands were different. This innate conservatism of DNA emboldened Wu to use whatever DNA he wished. In making his dinosaurs, Wu had manipulated the DNA as a sculptor might clay or marble. He created freely. And there's your problem. He started the computer search program, knowing it would take 2 or 3 minutes to run. He got up and walked around the lab, checking instruments out of long-standing habit. He noted the recorder outside the freezer door, which tracked the freezer temperature. He saw there was a spike in the graph. That was odd, he thought. It meant somebody had been in the freezer, too, within the last half hour, but go in there at night. The computer beeped, signaling that the was complete. I'll show you this little graph here real quick, everyone. Here on the bottom. Reads DNA search algorithm. A version search criteria on all fragments. DNA incorporates versions. Myosaurs versions 2.1, 2.9. Procomsognathid versions 3.0 to 3.7. Ophnelia version 3.1 to 3.3. Velociraptor. Stop.
Sorry. I'm also reading it as well. It's called RavenWood Reads, not RavenWood Glances.
Okay, but when you hover over me like that, I get defensive. You know I don't like it when people peek over my shoulder.
Oh, okay.
Velociraptors versions 1.0 to 3.0. Hypsilophodontids, version 2.4 to 2. The result was clear. All breeding dinosaurs incorporated rana, or frog DNA. None of the other animals did. So these are all the breeding.
All right.
None of the other animals did. Wu still did not understand why this had caused them to breed, but he can no longer deny that Grant was right. The dinosaurs were breeding. He hurried up to the control room.
Yeah.
And that's the end of that chapter. When next we will resume with Lex's perspective, as the next perspective chapter is titled Lex.
And how she may have survived. Or maybe it's just about Lex waking up in the belly. She wakes up, she sees leathery walls.
We shall see. It may just be her perspective from what transpired while Tim was skipping a tree. She met her demise.
Oh, right.
Or whatever.
It looked like a long chapter, but
we shall soon see.
But
if you enjoyed this video, be sure you hit the like button. Lets us know that you enjoy our content, and we hope to make more for you in the future. So the like button, it helps us out. And be sure you hit the subscribe button down below. Help support us and our channel so that we can keep content for all of you here on the Random Fan. Turn on the bell icon and turn on all notifications so you won't miss a beat on Fandom with next time, everyone. Cheers, much love as always.
And stay American, everyone.
And to all the non-American viewers,
stay American, everyone.
4th of July.
Oh, and also watch